3, 2, 1.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Big Girl 206, as always, here with the Keymaster King
Holla, holla, what it is.
for the dramatic entrance. And we're back for another part of our Black Ops 4 prologue series. We'll be covering Blackout. Blackout is finally upon us. Call of Duty Battle Royale. Vandahar God has brought us a new toy to play with.
Oh, Lord Vandahar. We pray. We pray at your feet.
We pray at your feet. For those of you who don't know, Call of Duty, or excuse me, Treyarch specifically, has created and molded and put together their version of a battle royale, which we all know is a hot gaming style right now. And Treyarch has done their own little thing. Vandahar has babied it along, and we're finally got our hands on it in the beta just a couple weeks back. And well, ladies and gentlemen, it has caused an uproar in the esports community. This game is probably going to be, if not the biggest battle royale, definitely competing for the top spot.
Top 3, easy. Not even a question.
I mean, I'm not going to give H1Z even a chance. PUBG, I don't think has a chance at release. The only one that's going to really compete it is going to be Fortnite. So
yeah,
and
I mean,
a lot of good top Fortnite players coming over to the dark side at release. So
yeah, and that's kind of where I think they need to be careful, is because it really all depends on which streamers come over and how long they stay. I mean, because even right now, when you think about it, like, there'll be times where I get on, like, I'll go, because for those of you guys who are new to the channel, I have the most ridiculous sleeping pattern on the planet. And moral of the story is I'm up at really late times for normal people. And I'll go to Twitch just to try to pass the time. And it's when, like, the big 3, I would say the big 3 aren't on, and I'm talking Shroud, Ninja, Doc, because those are the 3 biggest streamers in the world right now. Even Courage, if one of those 3,
definitely top 5.
I mean, Tim the Tatman, guys like that, if those guys aren't on, stuff's already beating Fortnite. I mean, yeah, those games have a good stranglehold on the market, but it's like, yeah, but if your top guys aren't on, no one's watching you. And it sucks to say that, but it's true, I mean, if your top people aren't playing, no one cares about your game.
Oh, for sure.
And that's a slippery slope, because, I mean, you have a few guys leave, or Call of Duty, Activision's like, well, we got a few dollars laying around, we could pay some people. If that happens, sorry, Fortnite.
Look at people like Ninja, Courage, those guys specifically, because they made their money on Fortnite. I mean, Fortnite's their game. Like, that's
Nick Merckx.
He was known before Fortnite. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Nick Merckx. Well, he was known for Halo prior to that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, Nick Merckx has been around a long time. I mean, he's not new.
Nick Merckx, Doc, Tim the Tatman, all those guys play multiple games. You know what I mean? They play whatever game's hot right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, Tim the Tatman, I literally watched him play Overwatch for like 3 days straight.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
mm-hmm.
It really just depends on... It really just depends some of these guys have exclusive deals with either Twitch or certain developer companies to play their game live for a certain amount of time. So,
Yeah.
you never know. I mean, I don't think you're going to see the likes of Courage and Ninja or Shroud, who's generally a PUBG player, go predominantly to Blackout. I think it'll be a big swing for like the first few weeks maybe. But, I think that I think they'll be bouncing back and forth after a while, after the honeymoon phase is over. And
Well, I could see Courage switching out of
switching.
out of anybody. I could see him
Courage also has
just because of his history.
commentate.
Well, yeah, I mean his history. It wouldn't be as shocking.
So I think for those people who are actually watching this video who don't know anything, the main premise behind Blackout is very similar to that of PUBG or Fortnite. You forge for all your armor and weapons on the map. You stay within a marked circle to stay alive, or without taking any extra damage. And all the meanwhile, there's another 98 people trying to do the same thing. So comes with a very Hunger Game-esque type, survival game.
Mm-hmm.
And the difference between Blackout and the games that are out right now is that it's Call of Duty style. So you got Call of Duty guns, Call of Duty perks that are also wrapped into that. You got it's all linked together Call of Duty maps from multiple or zombies.
Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3.
Yep, all key parts from the game. So Black Ops 1, 2, and 3 all linked together to make one giant map, which is also really cool. You got Nuketown on its own island. Then you got the diner from Zombies. You got Array. You got Turbine from Black Ops 2. You got a bunch of different, multiplayer maps and zombie maps all together to make one big map, which I think is really cool. It makes it familiar. It makes it very familiar.
Yeah. How did you feel about the transition areas when you were playing the beta?
I almost liked playing in the transition areas better. Just because, that was always kind of my favorite part about when we played PUBG together, or even the handful of times I try to play Fortnite, I'm horrible at it, is my favorite part is chasing the circle, or my favorite part is moving to a new area. I'm not one to get right in the middle of the circle and stay there until I can't stay there anymore. That's kind of not my game. I don't like playing that way. It makes the game a little too slow for me. But I think the transition areas are well suited for what they do. They blend them in and out of all the maps, which is pretty cool. I think that they made a lot of good defense points and high ground, and I think they definitely strategically made the transitions areas so they could be playable just as much as the main map areas. I think they did really good on that. I think after they did tweak a couple of the bugs during the beta, I think they're gonna have to tweak it down a little bit more. But the armor system is pretty cool. You got level 1, 2, 3 armor. But, at first, level 3 armor was pretty much damn near impenetrable.
Dude, that was like a freaking fortress on feet.
You were a juggernaut, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, that is
very hard to...
That is probably my biggest thing was they need to fix that. Like, there wasn't...
They will. I think they'll nerf a lot of the OP guns, and they're going to nerf the armor. I think they're going to pick up they already fixed the fluency of the loot rate. So, like, when you got to pick something up
right,
or open a door, they already increased the time on that, which is cool. It's just really cool how they integrated not even just the guns and the perks and stuff, but, like, you could pick up an RCXD, you could pick up tripwire, you could pick up defensible things if you are the type to hunker down in an area that's right in the middle of the circle. You know, I mean, you could fortify your area pretty much if you find
Yeah.
the right stuff.
No, totally.
So, I mean, you know, it's geared for a lot of different kinds of players. Player like me who's run and gun, or a player like Key who's slow and strategic. I think that's why me and him are going to make such a great duo in Blackout. Because, you know, I being a little bit more of a blind aggressor and Keymaster kind of being more of the war mind behind our play. And I would made it. I normally would have by myself, which I think was pretty cool. That was
Got those dope
so
stress,
you know,
guys.
It's going to be a great. It's talk of the town. People can't wait to play it. People are literally play it right now. Yeah, they literally you're fiending me. Yeah, we were both crying that day that was over. We
Like,
got tricked saying it was going to get extended off someone. I think it was Shroud. That, oh, they're going to increase the Blackout beta, and Twitter blew up and it trended worldwide. Treyarch and Vandahar like, ooh, what's happening like that? Look at you, way to come back there, kiddo.
yeah.
I was wondering why you got a little bit. That's what happens when I start rambling. He gets focused on the game.
So, like, dude, I was like a robot that game. I pulled a Crim 6. But no, guys.
Favorite parts about the Blackout, dude?
Dude, everything. There's what's the best way? Faster, sooner, better. You're talking. So Theta. So that's what I remind everybody of. All of this is if they had what 4 vehicles. They had.
Yeah, the big heavy truck, the copter,
And the boat. I was worried about the boat. But you're talking about they had 4 vehicles, drivable, all great, worked well. Heard after fact, and I'm kind of like one is, a lot of people think you should solo hit the hover button in the copter, and the helicopter will just stay exactly where it's at. It'll just hover, so you can which I think is great. I think it's a great idea because it's still overpowered.
hyped out of it.
You know, yeah, people get freaking Karma 3 rings. Karma 3 ring. That was hilarious.
Dude, I got sniped out like 2 minutes ago, bro.
Dude.
Good stuff.
But
Okay.
the vehicles are perfect. I think there's supposed to be like 2 more vehicles, which makes me a little sad. This was pretty well on point already. I didn't think they needed the extra. You needed the extra the vehicles.
Vehicles will be.
Well, I think they probably have another boat. Because no offense, the boat that they did have,
Or the mid-sized vehicle.
like
Or a Jeep.
Jeep.
There you go.
There's like 2 of them that drive around my hometown. I see it all the time. One was actually at the dealership when I went and got a change this week. There's so much stuff they could add in, especially the vehicles. And there's never really been a lot of Call of Duty games that have jobs game.
Yeah, you've never been to drive them.
So I mean, that's kind of a huge stat right there. So I mean, there's just different thing used to it, but like,
Yeah.
you know, you were on raid, you were on Ocean, which you've never seen before. What else? I mean, Array. You know, it's one map for heaven's sakes. You know, so many
Town, that was cool.
little nuances. Honestly, there were big nuances, but here
A little bit.
I pulled away. Even like the nuance stuff, and I mean, zombies here, lighthouse. If there's going to be more, this is where this is really exciting, is because you know that they're
Right.
active in this a long time. Blues got it. It rolled because and the editors when weeks it's Von Hars or well could debate. I always forget the one with the big yacht that there's one whole side of have anything.
That little state.
That's all, you're taking care about that, man.
No,
As long as the people can hear me, that's all that matters. And
baby. We are people. We are people friendly. Even mashed on hard right now.
This game because you're the only. I'm after release. It's really exciting to do, and I'm excited to see what events they do. I mean, because that's something else that's already been talked about. Is all the events.
The Doritos Bowl coming up at Twitch.
Well, no, like in game.
Oh yeah, events. But I mean, like you said, the potential for what comes next is limitless. I mean, how many multiplayer maps can you use? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You want to add a chunk on? What do? Okay, we're gonna take out Turbine right now and throw in, something else.
Yeah, I mean, they could have that damn explode. You know, they could have that damn explode totally change the whole map, add in a bunch of different stuff. I mean, and that's what's crazy. Like, even before we knew Blackout, I mean, he said he has been playing everything. So he probably put into PUBG, hours into Fortnite, hours and hours into this, hours into that, hours into this. He probably did.
Including people he's paying, putting
yeah,
into those games.
And that's just him. That's just him.
Yeah.
And it's just like, so that these guys are like, okay, so first week we stayed that we first golden win no matter what we have. What are we doing? It's going to be that fast as far as iterations goes. It's because you got to think about it. They had 2 or 3 limited in the beta.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
Like this, Fortnite doesn't update every week.
Yeah, every Thursday.
Something out, add a game mode. Yeah, add a game mode. They put something in. They tweak something. There's always a big.
They destroy.
They did.
They destroy Loot Lake.
Giant vortex. Actually, want to go see it.
DJ donkeys, DJ llamas. But they know that to be relevant, that's what they got to do.
They got to do stuff like that. But PUBG was in like.
Oh.
And
everybody
was talking about PUBG, how it's got the fastest amount of active players, and then all of a sudden, boom.
Well,
they did something, changed something, and all of a sudden Fortnite fucking exploded about PUBG. You know what I mean?
For PUBG.
Fortnite just got its own Funko. Funko just announced its own Fortnite Funko Pop line. Fortnite is releasing a cereal.
Why not?
There is talks that Fortnite will be having its own television show.
I don't know if I'm on board with that one.
There is a lot of things, little game, this little free-to-play game.
Play.
Well,
how much they charge?
Noah. Yeah, maybe.
Sleeper skins. That's what I call it. But that's what makes Blackout crazy. Is like, I think with the right people and the right attitude and the right execution, I think pull off the quote unquote unthinkable and potentially beat Fortnite at its own game. Just because it's a big enough studio with the right setup, with the right mindset. I mean, because you gotta think about it. Treyarch was the first one to come out with zombies. Nobody was like, oh yeah, zombies in a first-person shooter. That makes sense. Now, everybody does that. So I mean, that's what you guys like. These guys
but their backlog of content at this thing is ridiculous.
Oh, it's huge. It's monumental.
3 AAA full of guns, personas from zombies. I mean, they never run out of stuff to throw at it.
And I mean, I think that's what makes it great. I mean, it's kind of like what Heroes of the Storm is or MOBA, where it's like, yeah, we have all this history, all this backlog, and advantage of it because the fond of heart saw the light. Do this. Forget a campaign. That's another thing about it. It's just insane. We're not doing this anymore. But no. For you would be, do you think it I mean, I'm current state just because we all know that it was a beta, that they could tweak it enough. Do you think they could tweak it and have?
I don't know, because I mean they're still having struggles. I mean they've kind of smoothed it up. Keep bringing up. They've kind of smoothed out how to do Fortnite competitively, in the PUBG teams.
Mm-hmm.
Drop 5-man team app together, and it's simple. But I think pushing it towards competitively, like it probably will. Like I feel like if they push the competitive part of Blackout, it might ruin what built. Pretty much built the ultimate battle out, and people are already loving your game. And all of a sudden, 2 weeks in, we're getting shoved down, making tweaks for this because it doesn't work in competitive. It doesn't work in, but come on. So
I hear you. I hear you.
It's a thought. There are people who play video games that are competitive. The way to put it on game battles or on RNG or whatever. Yeah, he'll just run a little tourney on it. It's just, I'd rather interactive right away and force it.
Yeah, don't make it a thing.
It's got a little backing to it. Throw a little money at it. Let them let you appreciate a couple small things. Make it cleaner. But other than that, just leave it alone, man. Just let here's now see what it is. And people are already used, and you got people chomping at the bit to play your battle. So, see what happens.
No, I have to agree.
That's my opinion. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I was trying not to cough in it.
But Battle Royale as a whole is the biggest right now. It's following. It's got the most personalities behind it right now, as far as Fortnite, PUBG, and H1Z1's concerned, and whatever the other little ones are. But Fortnite and PUBG, for Von to have the other ones are doing wrong, I don't see this game doing out the game. Knock on wood, unless there's server issues or whatever, but I don't see Blackout at release not taking over the #1 spot on Twitch. And I'm not talking multiplayer or Call of Duty, I'm talking Blackout.
Yeah.
Top 3 to 5 streamers on release day have their little go, but I think he plays Blackout day one. I'm not saying it's the only thing he'll play day one, but I think at some point in the day of the first release day, he will play the game.
That's it.
And he'll have 18,000, viewers.
Must be nice.
Is that what it is usually?
Yeah. Pretty gross. If you could change one or two things, probably going to be, but what's things that are for some random reason watches this video, he's got 2 days to fix it. Session fixing it. I mean, what's 2 or 3 things that you would change about the game, but specifically
Blackout? That's a hard one. The zombies for now, and make those like a first add-on. It's an interest point on the map, but actually mess with the zombies much at least while we were playing together, and I never did. I was playing. I mean, that would just be my opinion, taking out that point of interest, just to kind of, again, don't take away, and then I like the game.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't have more, don't force yourself to come up with an excuse.
I kind of disliked. I mean, yeah. Again, the zombies were even the negative. I didn't really mess with, but was a point of interest,
Yeah. I mean, I think the zombies.
I wouldn't,
because the fact that they were doing the zombies wasn't 100% there. Reward was out of balance, which kind of skewed it for a lot of people. Because you're talking when you're fighting the zombies, you're putting yourself at a huge disadvantage because you've got
zombies either.
No, they're not. I mean, they're not level. Yeah, they're not level 1 zombies. Punch them with head. I mean, they'll jack you. They're not joking around. I think with the better loot, are interesting just because it'd feel more worth them. They added in like almost like a ultimate zombie, one of the last days, and literally got like normal stuff that you could just find. Dude, I just fought like 5 waves of zombies. You probably had to kill people to get to that point, and you're talking I got regular crap, and it's like regular crap because we didn't even have that stuff in the game to actually get what you should be getting. I mean, I was even saying it might not even be that. It might be a limited time event, and you have to kill them again.
No.
You know, stuff like that.
That's cool.
You know, it's still using the idea of PUBG, but it's not dictating, hey, you know, I think that's a really cool feature. Anything else you would change?
More even spread on the good loot. I think they're get like the good stuff.
Good.
Obviously, at the point in a high traffic area, you get the level 2 and 3 armor. You get everybody was I don't know. I just kept getting a chance to play with a lot of the better.
I mean, honestly,
that's just a nitpicky thing because it was fairly well spread. But, again, it's just a nitpicky thing. It's something. If I didn't mention anything, it would be fine. But kind of,
No, I totally hear you. I totally hear you. So I don't even guns.
No, I know I didn't.
I mean, like I said earlier, I played roughly a day's worth of time, and I feel like I got like 4 to 5 guns over and over and over again. I mean, you didn't go to the zombies areas where you could get like the ray gun.
I mean, I was there. There's one time I played, you know what I mean? Once the zombie history box to get anything cool out of it.
And I think if they are at zombies area, they definitely need to do more with it. You do like like that.
Yeah.
That would the zombies area worth it, in my opinion.
That or take somewhere on the map,
Yeah,
that would be cool too. So
yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff they can do. Earlier, Vonda Harwell, his little situation and magic on it, and get that sweet Black Ops spin on it. So I mean, I think Black Ops is going to be a run-up of.
Oh yeah.
For those of you guys who haven't, which if you haven't, you should. We were talking about it, and it's like I'm like, shoot, what do I play first? Do we play multiplayer first? Do we Blackout first? Guys, because that's going to be that's probably going to be the next video. Zombies this year has 3 different experiences. Day 3 zombies experience. Never happened before. You're after all the, been 3, and so I think between Blackout, between zombies, between Call of Duty, so we're just gonna do everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Cause I literally feel how they're doing all. I don't know what's gonna seal the deal for everything. I feel like, but I'm excited. I'm super excited. I'm excited for Blackout. I'm excited for multiplayer. I'm excited for zombies. My last notes. We said in the last video, I hope that they bring the theater mode that we talked about, which is the Black Ops 1 theater mode, into Blackout. Of the dope clips people could do with that.
No, for sure.
That would be...
The amount of good content that's going to be coming as a whole is just going to be ridiculous.
I think Black Ops 2 level content-wise. Like, people are just coming out with stuff constantly. It's going to be amazing. So excited to be a part of it. But that's what we got today, guys.
I think that's going to do it for today, guys. If you like what you see, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget the little notification bell so you get to notified every time we do a video or a live stream. Like Keymaster is going to be live streaming like crazy. I'm going to be live streaming on the weekends. So don't forget to hit the little notification bell to get that. And I think we're still doing zombies. And probably just an overview one, maybe.
Knowing us, we'll probably do it.
Anyway, look out for the prologue video after this one. If you want to see us do while Black Ops 4 is out, don't forget to leave that comment below or on our Facebook. Or you can DM us on Twitter, the Keymaster84 or Big Red 206. We'll leave all those links in the description box below. And yeah, guys, we play games to make gains.
Haters gonna hate.
We'll see you on the next video.
Peace.